So good morning, everybody. My name's Simon, and I'm delighted to welcome everyone joining today's Zoom Live, and also to say hello to all the increasing number of people that watch and listen to it later on Facebook and on various other sites. The Active in Redbourn team all hope you enjoy it. I'm delighted to report that our production team are now both grandparents. So very many congratulations to you both. So let's have a little round of applause. Well done, production team. Now,
thank you.
Today, you're welcome. A few things that I need to say. I get bored saying this, but apparently I am advised to say it quickly for safeguarding and other reasons. So people joining are automatically muted with their video turned off. If you want to reserve your anonymity still further, you can change your name in Zoom. You can use the chat function to send questions or messages to me or Olive. And this is now being live streamed to the Redbourners Facebook page, and later on will be on the Active Redbourn website. We are now global, which is very exciting. If I've forgotten anything, I'm now inviting our production team to tell me. If I don't hear anything back, I'm going to carry on.
You're all good, Simon.
I'm good to go. Fantastic. Now, I just did want a couple of slight changes to the schedule this week. As you all know, I always struggle with the word anonymity. So I thought I'd just, out of interest, check it out how you pronounce it in different languages. In French, it's anonymita. In German, and please forgive me, Rachel, because I actually asked Rachel, who speaks fluent German, for a pronunciation on this. I've got anonymitat, which may well be completely wrong. She can comment later. In Italian, it's anoniminato. And I think that's my favorite. So here on in, I should be doing it in Italian, just that one word. And there we go. And next up, in a break from tradition, very quickly, and no one knows I was going to do this, I'm going to tell you all a joke. I found out this joke was the funniest in the world, apparently, in an experiment done by a psychologist called Dr. Richard Wiseman. So here is officially the funniest joke in the world. Two hunters are out in the woods when one of them collapses. He doesn't seem to be breathing and his eyes are glazed. The other guy whips out his phone and calls the emergency services. And he gasps, "My friend is dead. What can I do?" The operator says, "Calm down." This operators are good like that. "Calm down. I can help you. First of all, let's make sure he's dead." There is a silence and then a shot is heard. Back on the phone, the guy says, "Okay, now what?" I love that. Okay, we have another full program for you today. And to start with, I'm going to the wonderful Sarah Brindley in lovely Harpenden. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Simon, and good morning, Redbourn. Lovely to be with you again.
Good. Now, first of all, how's lovely Harpenden today?
Glorious. Obviously, after our initial chat earlier, may not be as glorious as Redbourn, but the sun is shining. It's just come out as we went live, so there was somebody smiling on us at that point. So it's lovely to see. A bit cold when I got up this morning, but otherwise glorious.
Oh, well, here in Redbourn, like I said, it's absolutely boiling, and people are already praying for rain and doing rain dances on the common. It's that hot. So I'm pleased that Harpenden's looking good. So
we don't want any rain, thank you.
What sort of, have you got any exciting news for us today?
Okay, obviously all COVID vaccines again. So where are we? We are currently vaccinating all the second dose housebound patients, and we've been giving all the second doses at the halls as well for the last week or so, and we continue to do that. So please, if you have been called or about to be called, please come and bring your COVID vaccination cards. I'm sure you've had one, but please bring that with you so we can put the second sticker on it. The latest good news is that NHS England have given the go-ahead for those aged 45 and over to receive their vaccination. Today, our GP practices have already invited over 1,000 patients between ages 45 and 49-year-olds, starting with the older patients first. We have clinics this week, and we'll be releasing appointment dates planned for next week shortly. And please tell family, friends to respond to these, particularly if they get text invitations when they receive, and also let us know if they don't want to have one. So on the text you can put decline as well. Where possible, please do not call your GP practice, but contact them electronically via all our websites. You know, each website is slightly different, so please have a look on there. Just a reminder that we have invited all our over 50s So if there is anyone in that age group who have not had one, please email the practice. For us, it's elmsmedical@nhs.net. And let us give us your mobile numbers or any up-to-date details so that we can get in touch with you. Once again, where possible, don't ring the surgeries, unless, of course, you have any medical concerns, because that is important that you contact us. The Elms, along with our fellow PCN practices, are delighted to have received the Hertfordshire Purple Star COVID Vaccine Award. That's a mouthful. And that's in recognition of our commitment to enable people with learning disabilities to be COVID vaccinated. And it's basically, for the way we've done it, is person-centered approach and making all those adjustments that are needed to ensure that we're able to do it with care and able to actually do all those COVID vaccines. Again, please keep looking at our Facebook, Twitter feed, Instagram with all the latest news. I know this now is being listened to, as you said, globally, and so I do know it's certainly going as far as Lincoln, because my mum started listening to this. So I should say hello, Mum, shouldn't I? Anyway,
hello, Sarah's mum, everybody. Should we all say hello to Sarah's mum? Hello.
So she'll love that. But that's all from me this week. Has anybody got questions? I'm happy to relay or to help wherever I can.
I've got no medical questions, so I'd be interested to know how good you are on Tintin.
Oh gosh, no, you'd be better asking my husband. It's a bit of a blokey thing, isn't it?
Is it?
I mean, well, kind of. The Tintin comics and all of those. I did used to. I was aware of them. I didn't really. I like Rupert. Rupert the Bear, that I remember, and the annuals. I had an annual every year, but the Tintin books, I like the films, but other than the fact that they're snowy and there's some bloke with a beard.
We've got experts on this call, Sarah, that will tell you all about that next week. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. I look forward to it.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Sarah. Obviously, carry on doing such a wonderful job.
Thank you
wishes
all.
Harpenden all the best. We kind of wish we could send some of our glorious boiling weather your way, but hopefully Harpenden will stay nice. Thanks very
Lovely
much.
to
And we'll
be
catch
with
up
you guys again. Take care, everyone.
Thanks,
keep well.
Yes.
Bye.
And Sarah's mum. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, thank you. That wonderful update from Sarah. Okay, Will, I'd like to come to you now, if I may. Good morning, Will.
Good morning, Simon. Hi. Good morning, everyone.
How's things over your end of the village, Will? Can you bear the heat?
Just about, yeah. I'm slapping on some factor 30 at the moment, but yeah. West is best, they say.
West is? Oh, I love it. I love it. Right, what have you got for us today, Will? What have you been thinking about in the last few days and weeks?
Well, Simon, the big piece of news is that Sweep has got a job. My wife, Claire, has been made acting head of her primary school, and Sweep is now the school nurture dog.
Wow.
So it's the third day in school today, and it remains to be seen whether the behaviour is going to be good enough to make this a permanent appointment. That's Sweep's behaviour, by the way, not Claire's, I should just point out.
Just for clarity.
The school had a nurture dog before, and so she's going with that head teacher to his new appointment. So there was a vacancy. So we'll see how things go. But it is a school with a higher than usual number of children with social and emotional special needs and some difficult home lives. And a dog has been found to be a very calming influence. Sometimes the pupils can tell the dog their worries, even if they can't tell them to a teacher. Sweep seems to be enjoying the cuddles, but is coming home quite tired each evening. I guess it's a change of routine, and any change affects us to a degree. And the changes to routine and the fear and uncertainty over the last 12 months or so have played a significant part in what we might call the unseen pandemic, that of mental health problems. Many have struggled as the lockdown has continued in its various forms. In fact, I'd go as far to say that I didn't really meet anybody during January or February who didn't struggle at some point or other. I think we all did, to a greater or lesser extent. It was just a tough time for everyone. But we are emerging from lockdown, and the 4-stage roadmap gives us a sense of direction and some hope as we make that tentative journey. And I guess as we emerge, some of the groups and activities and the wider socializing starts to become possible again, we will get a clearer picture of the true state of things. Whilst many of us were holed up at home and only emerged out of our burrows maybe once a day for a walk, we haven't got a sense of the true picture of what has been going on for people. But it will have had a major impact on lives and on mental well-being. I don't know if anyone else did, but I watched the BBC Two documentary on this last night, presented by the indomitable local girl Stacey Dooley. I really disliked the title. I'll just say that first. It was called Back on the Psych Ward, but I know why they used that term. It needed to be brief and snappy, but it was also to reflect the fact that they were returning 12 months on from filming and doing a visit in the early stages of COVID. And they were returning to the mental health unit at London Springfield Hospital. So they'd filmed there, and then they were returning to see how things were the same or had changed and so on. It sensitively and unflinchingly covered a wide range of mental health issues, psychosis, OCD, suicidal thoughts, PTSD, and emotionally unstable personality disorder. Stacey and the mental health team that worked there carefully and respectfully interviewed the patients and followed their journeys over the course of about 6 months. There was a real courtesy and no sense of judging as they spoke to the patients, who were brave, honest, and eloquent about their struggles. So there was 21-year-old Ali, whose OCD makes her think her body is full of worms. Then we met Sharif, who suffers from psychosis. He's convinced that he's possessed by the devil. Stacey also talked to Coral, former cabin crew with an airline, who was brought into Springfield after attempting suicide and is battling with an alcohol addiction, and she's only 23 years old. Each individual story was painful, painfully sad, and it had me in tears several times. It was an important program illuminating and illustrating the unique challenges the pandemic poses to people's sort of recoveries. It shone a light on those who've struggled with long-standing issues, but it was also clear that the pandemic had affected some in their 40s and 50s who'd never previously struggled with their mental health. I didn't know this, but the Seacole ward in Springfield is the only dedicated residential ward in the whole of the NHS, in the whole of the country, offering 24-hour nursing care to patients with severe obsessive compulsive disorder. Since COVID, the demands for beds has shot up and the waiting list is now over a year. It was a powerful program, but not a comfortable watch. But it left me wondering, we see the COVID data dropping, thank goodness, and the Nightingale temporary hospitals sitting thankfully empty. But if we had people lying on trolleys in corridors untreated, there would be a public outcry. And yet in another area of healthcare, we see the equivalent. It's understaffed with few resources, long waiting lists for therapy and counsellors, and nobody says anything. Why has funding in mental health services been so drastically reduced? I fear that because the people who suffer from anxiety, depression, and other mental health conditions are often those who don't or can't make a fuss. Their suffering too often goes unseen or unnoticed. But I do think it's something we all need to be aware of in the coming weeks. There will be people who are going out for the first time in months and will be very nervous. There will be people whose social confidence has taken a battering. There will be those who just need to talk about what it has been like for them. They say that a problem shared is a problem halved. If only it was that simple, but I think we can all play our part and listen and support those around us. Sweep is doing his bit, so how about you?
What do I say to that, Will? I didn't watch the programme, but it does sound very harrowing. When you say that we can all play our part, I mean, in practical terms, I often wonder when you see people sitting on a bench, maybe not looking cheerful or something like that, would it be a good idea to go up and just say hi, or I mean, I don't know the answer to that.
I think so. I think it's very much to be led by how they, it's about seeking their kind of permission to engage or whatever. But yeah, I mean, and I think, we don't need to be trained counsellors. Some of us will be, some aren't. But actually just kind of talking and listening with that sort of proper attentive listening that really pays attention, says, actually, the person that's talking to me right now is the most important person in the world. And what they're saying matters because it matters to them. I just think just kind of listening. And I think there's, I've said it before, but I do think there's still quite a bit of social stigma about mental health. And actually it's about recognizing that actually any of us are capable of having good days and bad. There may be, specific conditions, or it just may be that we're kind of struggling and down, and it's not kind of something with a name or a label, but it's just kind of, we need somebody just to pull us up a little bit. And, most of us are social creatures, and actually, to a greater or lesser extent, we need a little bit of interaction. So I just think, we need to be sensitive about that. And, people will not want to kind of get their 2 meter space encroached upon. I think we need to be careful about that as well. I've seen that as people start to emerge, and they're quite jumpy, in supermarkets or going around. And I just think being really alert to that and just not kind of charging in, and I think will be actually quite important for us. And I just hope that Redbourn could do that quite well, really, as we kind of go through this process of emerging. I think that would be really important.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, I think if one thing I've learned about Redbourn in the last year is that we'd probably be very good at that. We're such a social village and friendly and helpful. So here's hoping we can play our part.
Yeah, I hope so.
Just to end on a cheerful note, then, if I may. Tintin, you up for Tintin next week, Will?
Yeah, definitely.
Sort of a Tintin off with David Howells.
Okay, challenge accepted. He will know much more. David's got an incredible memory, and he's very good at all that kind of stuff, how you learn lines for a whole play and stuff. So I think I'm going to come a cropper, but I'm up for the challenge.
Well, thank you very much, Will, and good luck to Sweep. I hope Sweep doesn't get sacked or anything.
Yeah. No, that's right. I will flag up my favourite characters are the Thompson twins, but I'm sure everybody knows they gave their name to the pop band in the 1980s. Yeah. That's where that name came from. They were named after the two chaps. But the bizarre thing about them, they're called the Thompson twins, but actually their names are spelt differently, one with a P and one without. So how does that work as twins? Go figure.
Wow, I didn't know that, so thank you very much, Will. And I remember that you like Depeche Mode as well, so I'll maybe work that in some obscure way as well. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm not sure Herjay ever went to Basildon, but we'll see. Yeah.
Thanks, Will. I'll catch up with you next week. Thanks very much.
Lovely. Thank you, everyone.
And now on to talk on the subject of twins. I think I'm going to open up to another twin now. Clerk to the council. Good morning, Chris Kenny.
I love your line in. Thank you very much.
How are you today?
I'm all right, thank you. I don't know if I'm the better half or the other, or not the better half.
Well, I probably
you're
should comment. So thanks for getting here on Kenny time, which is good. So well done. You've got some information for us all on a serious note, Chris, about the elections on May the 6th. So so obviously important date coming up.
Yeah, so perhaps not the most exciting subject, but obviously it's an important subject because it's our opportunity to vote and bring in, good candidates in that will represent us. So basically, the elections are being held on the 6th of May, and this time we're electing a district councillor to represent Redbourn, along with a county councillor and also the police and crime commissioner. So that means that that's 3 people that we're voting for. So when you come into the polling station, you'll probably each polling station may be slightly different, but I think you'll be handed 3 separate ballot cards, and each one will be a different colour, so you know which one you're voting for. And they may also have 3 separate ballot boxes as well, to make sure that you put the right one in the right box. So the Police Crime Commissioner, he's the person that has, or he or she has to say as to how the area is policed. They also look at the police budgets and then the amount of council tax charged for the police in our area. This year there are 3 candidates. So the election was supposed to take place last year, but it was cancelled or postponed due to COVID. So they're bringing it forward this year. So because there are more than 2 candidates, you'll be asked to vote for your first choice candidate, and then you vote for your second choice candidate. So you have 2 choices to make. The House County Council elections will take place every 4 years, so that's why it's happening this year. And the councillors here, they take decisions on our area, such as highways, education, children's services, adult social care and libraries. So at the moment we have Annie Brewster, so she's up for a re-election. I was going to say another candidate that's up for as well, but there's plenty you can see on our notice boards. You can see all the other candidates on our notice boards. We'll also be voting for a district councillor, and their responsibility is directly related to, a bit more directly related to Redbourn. So every precaution is being taken to ensure that the polling stations are COVID secure. If people feel uncomfortable about coming into the polling station, it's not too late to register for a postal vote. So you have to submit your postal vote application form to the election registration office in the St Albans District Council, and they have to receive it before 5 p.m. on Tuesday the 20th of April. So you need to go to the website and you'll see all the details there, or give the St Albans District Council a call if you want to do a postal vote. So there are 2 polling stations in Redbourn. So it's Parish Centre as usual, and also the other one this year is the Methodist Church. Normally it's at the school, but because of COVID they've decided to change the location this year just to make it slightly safer. And on your polling card it will tell you which polling station you have to come to. I'm actually working at the Parish Centre this year, which is, I haven't done this before, so they're recruiting new or additional people to be at the centre so that they can actually marshal more and keep, distancing and keep wiping down wipe down all the stations and the booths and things like that, just to keep it and make sure people are coming in and out in the correct way. So yes, that's really all the information I think that you need.
Thank you very much, Chris. Just a couple of quick ones. Are you, I read somewhere that people are advised to bring their own pencils. Is that correct, or is that a bit over the top?
I suppose you can bring them, but I think what they're doing is using disposable, so one use pencils. So literally one person uses it.
Like those little ones you get at school, those tiny little...
Yeah, or the IKEA, if we're allowed to say that brand, or the golf pencils. When you play golf, apparently you use those little coloured pencils. Those sort of things.
Okay, well, I was a non-golfer. I didn't realise that.
Oh, there you go then.
I've learned something there. Thank you. And just remind us all about that date for postal votes if anybody wants to apply.
So postal votes, it has to be with the St Albans District Council before 5 o'clock on Tuesday the 20th of April.
So there's still time for people to do that if they want to.
Time, but not much.
Okay, thanks very much for the update, Chris. Well done on Kenny time.
I don't know anything about Tintin, sorry.
Well, we might have to get you back on anyway, but perhaps do some background research for us for next week.
Oh, could you not test me on the programme This Is Us? I know about that.
What about netball rules? How are you on those?
Oh, yeah, I know everything about that now.
All right, well, thanks very much, Chris. Good of you to join. We'll let you go back to all the wonderful work you do for the Parish Council.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next up we have a young Chris Emmel. I don't know whether Chris Emmel is still with us. I can see a box with Chris Emmel on it. Chris, are you out there? Here he is. Chris, you're still on mute.
How's that?
Brilliant, Chris. Good morning, young Chris.
Keep on calling me young. You can have anything you like.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I'll have a nice cold beer after tomorrow when I come out of dry lockdown. Chris, you're going to talk to us about the wonderful fun day starting on July the 3rd and how things are progressing. Is that right?
It is. We're going great guns. Just to remind people, they may have missed it, but it's on the 3rd of July, Saturday the 3rd of July, between 11 and 4. And it's basically us celebrating coming out of close down and essentially having a bit of fun. And that's why it's called a fun day. I think when I spoke to you last time, I was inundated with people saying, everybody we asked said, yes, we will do as requested. The words got around and people are now coming to us saying, could we do this? Could we do that? So
brilliant.
Yes, it's absolutely fantastic. We've got a good result. At the moment, there's 2 little gaps we've got. We've got power on the common. Somebody's lent us a generator, which is really good. We would like, if anybody has access to some sort of PA system, we can always go and hire one, but as a free event, we're trying to keep the costs down. So if anybody's got a PA system in the village, that would be useful. And the other thing, there's an awful lot of musicians in the village. So if anybody wants to volunteer for any musical talents, there will be a stage, and it'll be a little bit like Folk on the Common, but it won't be as orderly as that. It'll just be people allowing us sharing their music with everybody, which I think will be quite nice. In addition, we have sorry about the noise. That's a dishwasher playing up in the background. In addition, we need some bales and a truck low loader. So if anybody knows any friendly farmers that might have some bales that we could borrow for the day and a truck low loader, that would be quite helpful. So we're going to have fun. There's going to be quite a lot of shows of exhibitions, etc., like you get at the county shows, but these will be much more friendly and local. I've talked to you already about dwile flonking, but we'll more about that on the day. And the other thing which is really very nice, and it's really pleasantly surprised me, is we have a little initiative called Redbourn Feeds Redbourn, and everybody we knocked on the doors in the high street and said, do you want to come and feed everybody? And people are coming down and actually feeding. Now, people have to pay for the food, but there will be good value food and excellent food. I know that from the shopping that I've done. So hopefully we're going to have a great day. And if you can help in any way, or you want to run a stall, give me a shout. And the number is 07770 863 864. Or the email is info@activeinredbourn.co.uk. Well, that's about it, really. Really quite excited.
It's very exciting. Chris, can you just give us a quick flavour? I know you could talk for hours on this because it is very exciting, but some of the activities other than dwile flonking that we can all look forward to?
Well, yes, we've got a conker competition. We've got electric. For some of the big children might like that. We've got a scale electric, a massive, great scale electric where people are going to register lap records. We've got how much fun can you have with a round Fray Bentos tin? Well, we're going to show you, because we've got Into the Fray, which is a competition which everybody can play. How far can you hit a cricket ball? We've got the electric bikes. I mean, I talk forever, but there's something for everybody. And the key thing is, it's not just fit, healthy people. It's anybody from 5 to 95 or 105 if you're fit. And it'll all be free of charge. Just come along and have some fun.
Brilliant. It'll be fun. It's July the 3rd. Yes, Chris, that's
July
right.
the 3rd. And all of this is provided by organisations within the village. That's the really nice thing about it. It's all I'm doing is taking phone calls and setting the party. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Super. Thanks, Chris, for the update. We'll look forward to getting you back on again in a few weeks' time, maybe, to give us more of an update and see how things are progressing.
As it settles down, I'll let you know exactly what's happening.
Super duper. Thanks for the update and keep up the good work. And bye. Catch up with you soon. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Chris. Okay, now Rachel is up now. If I can see you up there somewhere, Rachel, talking about what's new this week.
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, before we start, Rachel, how was my pronunciation of anonymity in German? And perhaps could you, for everybody, say how it should sound?
Yeah, it was patchy, I think,
Patchy.
Simon. Yeah. It's Anonymität. It was the umlaut on the A that I think threw you a little bit off there.
Yeah, I'm never that good with umlauts, I'm afraid, but...
No, we can work on that.
Okay, thank you. Perhaps I can have some coaching on my umlauts.
Absolutely.
Okay, Rachel,
Okay,
so
so
now you're going to talk us about what's new in the village coming up. So the floor is yours.
yeah, so for those of you who can see, there's a slide up as well. For those of you who can't, I'll read it out. So the first one is a reminder to sign up for the wonderful Redbourn Fun Run, which is taking place on the 23rd of May. The sign up is on the Fun Run website, which is redbournfunrun.co.uk. If you haven't done a virtual fun run before, basically it's quite simple. You sign up, you can either do a 1, a 3, a 5 or a 10K. You run it in your own time and you just report back what the time was. So it's as simple as that. So you can run it with someone else or on your own, and that's how it works. So I think a few people have been thrown by what even is a virtual fun run, but still lots of fun. So that's still to sign up, plenty of time to sign up. So if you could go onto the website, that'd be fantastic. 17th of April, the next Redbourn Village Market is on between 10 and 12, and that takes place in Redbourn Village Hall. Thereafter, it's going to be the second Saturday each month. So come along if you can to that. 21st of April is our first Zoom bingo, run by our very own Chris Emmel, who you just heard talking. We did a tester of this. He was in a bow tie. It was all wonderful. That's at 7 o'clock on the 21st of April. Now, if you want to take part, all you need to do is email info@activeinredbourn.co.uk. You will be sent bingo cards to print out. And then you'll be sent Zoom details to join. It's actually really, really simple and lots of fun. So hopefully lots of you can join in with that. We're going to keep it free for this first one in particular, to just give it a go and just have a bit of fun. So do email us if you can. And then lastly, the Redbourn photography competition. There's still time to enter. You can submit your photos until the 1st of May if you send them to community@redbourn-pc.gov.uk. I think they've had some wonderful entries from what I've seen following them on Instagram, and I think loads more. There's all sorts of different categories to enter as well. So go and have a look on the website and you can see what sort of photos you can enter, all about Redbourn. So if anyone wants to share any news, do let us know on the info@activeinredbourn.co.uk email. It'd be fantastic to have anything that's new. And now we're coming out of the stages of lockdown, finding out what's actually going on in the village and letting everyone know about it.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thanks, Rachel. Rachel, can I just ask to check whether on your last slide, whether the village market is 10 till 12 or 10 till 2?
I have it as 10 till 2.
Yeah, fine.
It's 10 till 2, sorry.
Great, that's fine, thank you.
No worries.
Thank you, Rachel. Can I just check about, I just want to say about the bingo, by the way, to give a plug. I played it for the first time when we did a child run, and it's the most fun game. So those of you that have never played bingo, there might be one or two out there. It's really, really, really good fun. So hopefully you can dial in. Rachel, are you also doing the Redbourn Recommends today?
I will do the recommends as well, yeah.
In that case,
hopefully this will all work. So as you've been hearing in other weeks, all sorts of recommendations coming in, books, films, TV shows, and we've got another couple of lovely recommendations coming in, completely varied. That's what's been so lovely about this. And obviously, if you can think of anything you've recently read or seen that you want to recommend, do let us know. So the first one is Me Before You, which is a film based on the book by Jojo Moyes, and this is recommended by Chris Emmel.
Good morning, this is Chris Emmel and part of the Active in Redbourn gang. I'd like to recommend a film this week, and it's a romantic comedy from 2016. It's called Me Before You. It's a very uncynical and very nice rom-com. It's based in the UK on a book by Jojo Moyes of the same name. It's the usual romantic comedy stuff, two people thrown together through external events and how they manage and do they or don't they fall in love. However, that's just the surface. It addresses fundamental issues about humanity and in a way that is light and insightful. It has a star-studded cast. It's got Emilia Clarke and Sam Clefton. It's got Janet McTee and Charles Dance, Gemma Coleman of Victoria fame, and even Joanna Lumley pops in for a cameo appearance. The critical response was a bit lacklustre, but it won the People's Choice Award for the favourite dramatic movie that year. It's less schmaltzy than your average rom-com, much more meaty, and although there's a bit of lovey-dovey stuff in it, that is secondary. What I'd say is I finished it with a wet face, half laughing and half sad, and I found it a very uplifting film. And whilst I've got you here, could I recommend a film that's being shown on Friday evening before the Academy Awards and will probably win quite a few of them. It's called Promising Young Women, which is from a director called Emerald Fennell, who is destined to become a household name. Hope you enjoy either or both.
Thanks very much, Chris. I haven't seen either of those, so I have to give them a go. And next up, we've got another recommendation by one of our young people in the village, by Sam, who's 8, and he's read the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So this is him recommending that.
Hi, I'm Sam Couch. I'm 8 years old, and I'm recommending the Lord of the Rings trilogy by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is 3 books, but one altogether. The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, The Return of the King. The general theme is good versus evil and a group of people coming together to beat a powerful wizard. The start of this whirlwind adventure is the Shire, where 4 of our main characters live. Our main characters travel through forests of talking trees, elvish kingdoms, caverns of trolls, and the last hideout of men. Also, we experience mines of dwarves. My favourite is the Two Towers because it has the Battle of Helm's Deep in. And the Battle of Helm's Deep is elves and men on one side versus tens of thousands, maybe even more, of orcs gathered by a second evil wizard called Saruman. And you'll enjoy this if you like magic, fantasy, battling, and exciting stories. Maybe if you're slightly scared of things like giants that rip meat out of flesh or something, then don't watch this. But don't be put off by the size of the books, because it's really worth it. And I've been talking about this a lot. The main characters are 4 hobbits from the Shire that I talked about earlier. A dwarf called Gimli, an elf called Legolas, and a man called Aragorn, who's supposed to be the king of a place called Gondor. And that's basically what I'm telling you today. And enjoy reading. Bye.
Bye. What a lovely recommendation.
Wasn't that wonderful, Rachel? Absolutely brilliant. I love the fact that an 8-year-old is telling all us grown-ups if we're scared, then we should avoid it.
It's lovely, isn't it? Yeah, I think I'm definitely too scared.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well done. Rachel, are you just going to tell people who can't actually see the screen where they should send their recordings to, or anything else you want to add?
Yeah, absolutely. That's fantastic. Yes, we really do need more recordings now. So if you send me a voice recording in whatever format, you can send that to me to info@activeinredbourne.co.uk. It'd be fantastic to get some more recommendations in, and then I'll set it to a little mini movie for the Newsbite. But don't worry about doing that element of it. I'll sort that out.
Lovely. Thanks very much, Rachel. It's a wonderful idea. I absolutely love these. And thank you this week to young Chris Emmel and to genuinely young Sam for two fantastic recommendations. Chris Emmel will sneaked a second one in there, which is a bit naughty of him, but that's Chris Emmel for you. Thank you very much, everybody. And bring them all on. And now, of course, we're on to the last bit of each week's show, which is the wonderful Snatchups. Good morning, Snatch Up team. Anyone out there?
Yes, I'm here, Simon.
Hello, David. Oh, should I say Tim? How are you today?
Not too bad. I'm yes, I'm obviously going to have a quick look at some Tintin books by the sound of things. I didn't say I'd actually looked at any in the last 20 years. You see, this is the thing. So
yeah, I'll have to think of work of some way, but we've got to do a Tintin off between you and Will. I think it's now just got to happen. You know, we built up the expectation in the village.
Ah, well, the challenge is there.
Good stuff. Okay, David. Well, I'm going to, if you give me a couple of seconds or so, I'm going to slight pause, then I'll read out what I've got to read out, and then we're all massively looking forward to this new edition of the Snatchups. And now it is time to head over once again to the picturesque Hertfordshire village of St Mary's for the 12th instalment of our weekly serial, The Snatchups. When we left it last week, Jane had been arrested for kicking her boyfriend Gary in the Coolies after finding him gallivanting with Sarah Trollope. And despite having no musical ability whatsoever, Tim had formed a heavy metal band featuring Grandad on the drums.
Well, at long last, we've reached stage 2 of the government's roadmap for lifting lockdown restrictions. I was so desperate to get my hair done that I made sure I got an appointment on the first day. That root touch-up treatment I bought didn't work at all. Looked like I had a dead badger on my head.
But nevertheless, I still don't know why you needed to do it.
And I don't know why you are making such a fuss about it.
Because it looks ridiculous, that's why.
We've been through this. I fancied a new look to make me feel younger. You don't know what it's like for a woman to feel the years go by. I wanted to grow old gracefully.
I understand that, but I don't think dyeing your hair bright pink is the answer.
Why not? I think it's very striking. It certainly turns heads in the street.
I bet it does.
It's got that je ne sais quoi.
Well, it's got je ne sais something. You look like Albina Smurf.
Well, that's charming coming from the man who looks like Boris Johnson on a bad hair day. Anyway, I have the girls coming round this afternoon for tea in the garden. They think it looks very flamboyant.
Well, that's one word for it. And while you're doing that, I've arranged to meet a few of the lads for a couple of pints at the Hollybush. Now it's reopened. It's our opportunity to help our beleaguered publicans get back on their feet.
It's nice to think we can go out again without having to worry about Jane all the time. She really seems to have put the business with Gary behind her and moved on.
Yes, and luckily, Gary's also agreed not to press charges against her for damaging his van and kicking him where it hurts.
Well, I should think so too. It's the least he deserved after dumping her for Sarah Trollope. That scarlet woman. I don't know what men see in her. She's got the face that munched 1,000 chips. Anyway, here's Jane now.
Mum, I've decided that the best way to move on from Gary and take my mind off things is to throw myself into a new hobby. So I'm joining the St Mary's Players.
The St Mary's Players? That bunch of lovies. Talk about making a drama out of a crisis. They make a crisis out of a drama.
Actually, they've been very welcoming to me and have already given me a part in their next production.
I've been to one of their productions, and if there was a Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Scripts, they'd be serving life. The plot eluded me completely. The set was so wobbly it moved a foot closer to the audience every time a door closed, and if there were any proper actors, I certainly didn't spot them.
They're actually very good.
Good? The woman who came on in the second act thought she was in a completely different play.
Well, the chairman thinks I have a lot of talent and great potential.
Well, if the last few productions are anything to go by, I wouldn't trust the chairman's judgment on anything.
Well, you won't put me off. I'm going to join them anyway.
So, what's the play you're doing?
The Jilted Woman by Betty Cheated.
Well, won't that just make you feel worse?
Hold on. Isn't Danny Dreamboat a member of the St Mary's Players?
Oh, he might be. I hadn't noticed.
You've fancied him ever since he joined the sixth form. So that's where this sudden interest in acting has come from.
Well, it hasn't taken you long to move on, has it?
Well, if Gary doesn't want me, then I'm a free agent. And if it makes him jealous, all the better. Danny and I have the lead romantic roles, so we're bound to be spending a lot of time together. And who knows where that might lead? Fiction might become reality.
But the play is called The Jilted Woman.
Exactly. My character is ruthlessly cast aside by an absolute cad, just like Gary. And I'm thrown into the arms of another man who offers a shoulder to cry on. And as I open up to him, we slowly become closer as a relationship develops. And I end up revealing everything.
You do what?
Well, there's this steamy bedroom scene, but it's essential to the plot. And it's all going to be tastefully done with the use of subtle lighting.
Now, you hang on a minute. If you think we're going to allow you to display yourself on stage, you've got another thing coming.
Oh, don't be such a prude, Dad. Things are much more progressive these days. It's all about artistic integrity. And anyway, you don't see anything. It's all over in a flash.
Oh, I'll bet it is.
Are you sure they're not taking advantage of you? I mean, it's not right that it is only the woman who's expected to get her kit off.
Exactly right, Mum, which is why Darren is getting his kit off as well. You should see the advanced ticket sales. They've gone through the roof.
Right. We need to talk about this, young lady.
Oh, I haven't got time to talk right now, Dad. I'm late for rehearsal.
You are not to leave this room until we've sorted this out. Right. On no account are you to leave the hallway until we've talked this through. Jane, I forbid you to go through that front door until we've made a final decision. Well, don't think you've heard the last of this, because we will be speaking again later.
I don't know what's got into her. Ever since she split up with Gary, it's like she's a different person.
And Tim's no better. Ever since he joined that heavy metal band, he seems to think he's St Mary's answer to Ozzy Osbourne. Have you heard that dreadful racket upstairs? He's practicing his singing by listening to the backing track through headphones. All you can hear is the vocals. It sounds like the demented screeching of a tormented cat.
Yes, I'm amazed the other band members haven't commented on it. And what's that other noise coming from outside? Sounds like an engine.
It's a motorbike. Sounds like a big Harley Davidson. I wonder who around here would have got one of those.
Morning all.
Grandad, what's with all the biker gear and the German motorcycle helmet?
Hey, I bought myself a motorbike. Being in a rock band has made me feel so much younger. I'm reliving my youth. Call it a midlife crisis.
But you're too old to be having a late life crisis.
Hey, I'm trying to persuade Mrs. Probworthy to ride pillion with me. Out on dinner handbag in one hand and holding her false teeth in with the other. In fact, she's coming round tonight to help polish the exhaust pipe.
We don't want the sordid details.
And I've been in touch with the Harley Owners Group. We're going to set up a St Mary's chapter with me as president. I've designed the logo and everything. It's a skull and crossbones on an ace of spades.
You in charge of a biker gang? What do you think this is, Sons of Anarchy?
It'll help to promote the band.
Hey, and I'll tell you what else will help promote the band. Guess what? One of the neighbours heard me singing and they contacted the BBC and they've asked me to go on their new show, I Can See Your Voice. It's a show where a panel try to guess how well you can sing just by the way you look. They obviously think I'm going to be the next Axl Rose. I'm going to take the series by storm.
I don't want to burst your balloon, but are you sure about this? I mean, you do realise that they deliberately invite a lot of really bad singers as well?
Well, obviously they're going to be the dreadful ones that everyone will laugh at, which will just make my talent shine out even more. In fact, I'm going to go right back to them now and accept. This could change my life forever. And on that bombshell, we must leave it for this week. Will Tim's life change forever? Or will someone actually tell him what an awful singer he is before he's humiliated on primetime television? Will Grandad persuade Mrs. Podworthy to swap her mobility scooter for the pillion seat of an 1800cc Harley-Davidson Fat Boy? And will Stan and Brenda manage to persuade Jane otherwise, or will she insist on getting everything out in the open? All will be revealed in next week's exciting episode of The Snatchups.
Thank you, the players. Another wonderful episode. I'm loving all the little subplots in it. I'm particularly concerned about Jane. I sort of dream about her in sort of an odd sort of way. So I hope she gets herself sorted. Anyway, so brilliant. Looking forward to the next episode. So that's the end of today's show. Thank you, everybody, for dialing in. Thank you for all the contributors. Thank you for all the listeners. Thank you all the people that haven't listened to it yet but will later. Enjoy the spring sunshine. Stay safe. Have fun. And look forward to catching up with you all for the Tintin special between Will and David next Wednesday morning at 11 o'clock. Have a lovely time, everybody, and thanks for dialing in. Bye.
All right, thanks, Simon.
Bye.
Bye.